So this is the new toy. This is what I dragged back from Napier. That is now taking up a large portion of my lounge, and ignore the scraping sound, that's trouble. So yeah, so as you can see, the insides are all there. Up here, I'm sure if you know jukeboxes this will be no surprise, but this folds down so you can change the songs. It's full of 80s pub goodness, this one. And the internals. Currently missing the amplifier. I'll get to that in a moment. I have ordered a new needle and replaced that, so this has a Stanton 500 cartridge, so I put a new needle in that. It's full of records. They are just random records. Came with about 1,045s in 4 boxes, one of which, or actually 2 of which, the puppy has found. This is Doug, by the way. Doug, because... So yeah, this all appears to work. This side of the mechanism all seems perfectly functional. The credit computer works. You can dial in songs. And that's it. CoinSlot works. That adds credits. I can add multiple credits and then queue up songs. So I believe everything there's working. We just have no audio output, and when I pulled this amplifier out I figured out why. Right. So here's the amplifier pulled out, and as you can hopefully see there, it is an MHG Mark III amplifier from 1978. I can barely find anything on this online. I found one post from a repair shop saying we spend an hour on these, if we can't fix them we throw them in the bin. Seems they were a cheap pile of poop and people don't like them. So there's not much to it, and yet there is a lot to it. This preamp board is just insane, and under the preamp board just a couple of hybrid modules which are 60 or 65 watt I think. So there's not a lot in here if you don't consider this preamp board. Preamp board's had some love. Got a couple of wee bodge resistors there. There's been a wee bit of repair work done on it. Bit of solder reflowing by the looks of it. But this, yeah, can't find any info on it. It looks ridiculously complex for what it is. I'm not really sure what its purpose is, but yeah, there's been a bit of bodgery. Stereo inputs have been mono bridged, so I haven't even poked around too hard to see what's going on with this. I figure, based on that one post I found, that this is going to be not worth the effort. Excuse the Tweety birds in the background. I have a mama bird who has decided to live in my roller door of my garage, and it was too late to evict her once I realised what she was doing. So now I got little baby birds. So they'll be big enough to fly away in a few weeks, and then I'll be able to close my garage door again. Until then, not so much. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so that is no good. So then I went looking. What are the odds that somebody would have something online? Pretty slim. pretty slim indeed. This is a Rode AMI MM4. I picked this up for $51 and it's mostly complete. It's not in going order by any stretch of the imagination. It's lived on someone's deck for quite some time. I suspect getting this going would be just way too difficult. So as I said, this is an MM4. It's a 1970 model. So a little bit earlier than mine, which is a 79. There's a few things missing, like the tone arm and some bits which have been unceremoniously dumped in the bottom there. I haven't looked too hard at what they are or what they do or where they're from or why they're there. But it does seem to be complete. There's a bunch of bits in a cardboard box and everything I think is actually there. The amplifier is much more in my wheelhouse. So this is an R4359A. It's a valve amp, valve preamp, 12AX7s, then the preamp stage, and then push-pull 7868s. I don't know what these are, and I'm a bit concerned about these two because they look a bit cloudy to me. That one looks particularly milky, and so it could be shot, and if it is, the first prices I found on these scared me greatly. So we've got mute plug, which is the same as the other amp, phono speakers, which is not, I don't think, unless they're called something different. External speakers I'm not worried about because I don't want to run external speakers. I probably won't need to, and if I do, I'll figure that out later. These phono speakers are the internal ones, from what I understand. So the chassis seems of a similar size, although the brackets are in a different place, but then it's got the mounting plate down there, so I can always swap mounting plates over. If I can use this, well and good. I haven't run this up. Pretty sure this is 110 volt, but you know, when you're used to working on radios with tiny wee transformers, this thing's a behemoth. It is just a monster, and these output transformers. Awesome. So yeah, hopefully, we'll see how we go, but hopefully this, combined with the other one, will get us a working jukebox. Now, if all else fails, my plan is to basically probably sell this to fund building some kind of audio module for it. I figure that the output transformers on the other one, there's the other one, is this preamp. I might put some high-res pictures of this online in case anyone wants to have a look. If anyone knows of a circuit diagram or any troubleshooting tips for these, clearly we've had a bit of a meltdown here and things have been hackily replaced and repaired. Yeah, I'd rather not. But it does have a couple of fairly decent looking output transformers. I mean, these are hybrid amp modules that should, with a phono amplifier, these should just work. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear from someone that knows why the complexity, why the hell there's so much going on here. What is this all for? Is it all for external speakers? Is it for, I don't know what this listen mode output is marked on the board here. And because I don't have a schematic for it, I just don't know what to do with it. So, you know, I don't have a schematic for that valve amp either, but it looks pretty straightforward. I think that will be a case of recap it, check the resistors, and fire it up and see what happens. But this one, I think I could make a small phono preamp, feed these if they're still going, these feed these, and then on out to the speakers. So yeah, at this stage, not really sure there's much else I can tell you. I'm quite excited about this. I've never had a jukebox before. Don't know why I wanted one. The first one came up cheap, the second one came out ridiculously cheap. My instructions from Mrs. Vintage Radio Steve were to do what I'm going to do with that second one and move it on quickly, or words to that effect. So yeah, we won't be keeping the second one. I did briefly consider stripping the guts out, tidying up the exterior, putting some modern Arduino or similar based control circuitry in it and turning it into a digital jukebox. But I have enough projects, really, and one jukebox is probably enough for one house. Although there is the shed and the barn, so, you know, maybe I do need more. Anyway, that's where we're at so far. Any advice or experience would be appreciated. Otherwise, I'll keep you posted with how I go. I do realise this is yet one more project, and there are a bunch of projects I still need to finish. I am going to get back into the Atwater Kent, hopefully this week, and try and finish that in the next week or two. And then maybe back to the Pacific, or who knows, maybe another new project. We'll see how we go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you soon.